If you're new to life insurance and or final expense sales and you're not sure exactly like when or even if you should be door knocking your leads, then this video is definitely for you. I'm also going to give you some appointment setting tips, and I'm going to share techniques for door knocking leads. First, please give the video a thumbs up. We do suggest subscribing if you're new. Let's start with the one thing that you probably don't want to hear. If you're selling life insurance on a face-to-face basis, whether it's final expense or whatever type of life insurance, it doesn't matter what it is, you're absolutely going to be door knocking leads between your appointments. When should you call your leads and when should you door knock the leads? And whether you're brand new and have never sold a life insurance policy or not, I highly recommend taking your leads at least, I want to say, 1 to 2 days each week and calling through them over and over, like all day long, morning to night, early to late, to try to set as many appointments as humanly possible. The sooner that you get comfortable with calling leads and setting appointments, the better. And the good news is that you can still door knock a lead even if they hang up on you or if they tell you that they're just not interested. And let me explain why. First off, you paid for those leads. Second, your client filled out a lead form, and therefore, if you don't do everything humanly possible to do your job and get in front of them, then you're not doing your job. And guys, if you'd like a copy of the Door Knocking Super File, which has scripts for door knocking and overcoming objections, while you're door knocking the leads, just stick around until the end of the video, and I'm going to show you how to get this for yourself. Unfortunately, most people, I hate to say this, but I really do feel this way. Most people don't have a thick enough skin to do what it takes to be successful at sales. If I walked away from everybody that said no to me, I would have ended up with blue hair working at Starbucks. No, guys, there's absolutely nothing wrong with having blue hair or working as a barista. However, the income of a successful life insurance agent, trust me, it's a lot more than someone who's grinding it out in a 9-to-5, like working for the man. So let's talk schedule. When to call the leads and when and how to door knock the leads. Saturdays are really good days to call leads nowadays. And I would call through your leads like multiple times each Saturday. You don't have to go late on Saturday. I would say start at like 10 in the morning, maybe finish up around 3 o'clock or so. However, remember, the goal is to set as many appointments as you can for Monday and Tuesday. Try your best to avoid setting appointments more than like a couple days out, maybe 2 or 3 days out the most. Trust me on this, guys. If you set them up for 5 days later, you're going to have a really high stood up rate, and it's just going to turn into a mess and a waste of time. On Wednesday, dial through your leads again, like several times all day long, early in the morning till in the evenings. I would say make your last dials around 8:30 p.m. or so. By doing this, you're going to catch people after they get off work. People that, you would think maybe don't work, but they do, believe it or not. A lot of people do work part-time jobs at weird hours. And you're also going to catch people like after maybe they've had a drink or two and they're like in a better mood and they're kind of like chilling out. Of course, guys, the objective is to set as many appointments if you're calling on Wednesday for Thursday and Friday. So the idea is you have around 4 field days and 2 hardcore phone days. Guys, don't be the slacker. Most people that have phone days, they slack through the phone days. They do very little, and it turns into a big waste. Just don't do that. Saturday and Wednesdays, you're dialing all day to set as many appointments as possible. And then Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, you're going to your appointments and like door knocking your leads in between your appointments. And guys, just an FYI, most of your sales are actually going to come if you're doing final expense. In term life, it might be a little bit the opposite, but if you're doing final expense, most of your sales are going to come from those door knocks, from door knocking the leads, not from the set appointments. So I would say unless you're working like a really abnormal amount of leads, which is kind of what I used to do. And if you're thinking like, what's an abnormal amount of leads? I want to say for face-to-face, at least 100 leads. So now you're spending a lot of money. Maybe you're spending $1,500, $2,000 a week on your leads. Here's a couple more important tips. 1, When you're dialing through your leads, follow the script and do not get into a conversation about life insurance. Do not even mention the words life insurance. If you're selling mortgage protection, talk about how the insurance works to protect the family. And if you're selling final expense, talk about how these special insurance plans work to take care of any excess funeral costs and/or even more. Number 2, when you door knock your leads, all you should have in your hand is maybe a stack of leads, some medical question pages in the back of the stack of leads, and a pen. Like, that's it, guys. I want to look as non-salesman-like as humanly possible. Non-intrusive. I'm definitely not door knocking with like a laptop in towed, or a briefcase or something silly like that. I'll show the prospect the lead printout card, right? But I'm not going to hand it to them. When I'm at the door, I'm in control and I'm the one that they need in order to get the life insurance. That's kind of my perception. And then once I'm actually in the house, I'm going to make the first part of my sales presentation. And when it's time to start pricing out the carrier options, then I'll go back to my car and I'll grab my laptop or whatever device that I'm using to sell the insurance with. If they try to turn me away when I'm at the door, I'm most likely not going to schedule an appointment with them. Understand, guys, hear me out on this. I'm doing everything that I can right here, right now, to get into that house right now, because I know the second that I walk away, no matter what's done and said, the chances of them inviting me into their house or even showing up for the appointment is actually going to be lower than it is right then and there. I let them know that I'm in the area now, that I don't live very close, and that I'm not going to take very long, and I'm pushing my way in. And interesting enough, guys, even though I haven't been in the field selling for years, to this day, we get clients that call up for service, right? They call my office, they speak to me, they speak with my wife, and they love to remind me that I was really pushy and that I didn't take no for an answer, and that they're actually grateful for that. Some of my best sales and best clients were hard-earned people who insisted that it was a bad time to come into their house, or they gave me multiple objections and excuses why they weren't ready to buy the insurance when I was making the presentation at that time. And one way or another, I was able to push through the nonsense and help them out anyway. Guys, understand, people don't actually just sit around thinking how wonderful it would be to buy life insurance. So you need to do your job. You need to make sure that they understand, the prospect understands the importance of having the insurance for their family, and you do not listen to the excuses, to the lies, and to the nonsense. Be great at your job. People are going to thank you for it. I've never had a death claim where the family was mad at me for being the only person that they know that gets them paid because their loved one died. They're always super thankful. If you'd like a copy of the door knocking super file that I mentioned back at the beginning of the video, just email me at doug@ufesonline.com. For more information on working with me on our remote telesales platform or even selling Medicare Advantage face-to-face, just shoot me an email at that same address. As always, guys, when you put the needs of your clients first, everything else will usually fall right into place. So do yourself a favor, do someone else something right. Get out there. Whatever you do, make sure that you do something good for somebody else today. Happy hunting.